You're ugly. No wonder you're in the basement.
Hey yo! Here we go. Microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2. I said microphone check. 1, 2. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Ain't nobody out here winning like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Just like me, like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Ain't nobody out here winning like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Just like me, like me. I'm one of a kind, I'm like a rare breed. A breath of fresh air, you can see me. People stand up just to greet me. Role model, kids wanna be me. Listen now, later you'll believe me. Got you under my spell, the whole thing was easy. I just come and wink my eye like a genie. Put my crown on, y'all little peasant can king me. I'm irreplaceable, the different one. Since I was born, I was the chosen one.
Welcome back to another video from Dine Retail. This is Keith, and today we are visiting Regency Square Mall outside of Richmond, Virginia, which is going through a transformation, or at least trying to. I will say it's the first time in a long time I've walked into a mall, and as I'm walking the main sidewalk outside, I'm hit with such a odor of marijuana. It was amazing I did not get a contact high. Regency Square opened back in 1975, and it was developed by Leonard Farber of Pompano Beach, Florida, in conjunction with local developer E. Carlton Wilton. When it opened, the anchors were JCPenney, Sears, Miller & Rhodes, and Thalheimer's. A food court was added in 1987. The Third Church of Richmond is having a major renovation done at their church. So they've moved everything here to Regency Square. And I believe this was the former Forever 21 location, because that was a two-story store, and this church is on both levels. What's going to become of this when they move out? I did not find anything online about future plans for this particular space. So back in 1990, Miller & Rhodes closed, and Hex bought the location here at Regency Square, along with 3 other former Miller & Rhodes locations in Virginia. Then in 1992, Thalheimer's was acquired by Hex, and the Thalheimer store here became a second Hex location. One of the interesting stores here, which is in a former Zales, you can get your Star Wars fix. I should have went in and looked at more of the collectibles, but maybe another time. So back in 1991, the mall was sold to Prudential, and then Tubman purchased the mall in 1997. Shortly thereafter, in 2003, they added a children's play area. Apparently, Tubman was going through some financial issues because in 2012, to avoid going into foreclosure, they returned the mall to the mortgage lender, who then hired Jones Lang LaSalle to manage the property. Then in 2015, Tallheimer Realty Partners and the Rebke Company, both local groups, bought the mall for $13.1 million to revitalize the property with a focus on retail. We are now coming up to the east end of the mall, and this is the former JCPenney location. And from what I can tell, it's presently being used as a homewares consignment shop. And apparently a lot of people were going in and out getting some bargains. And as you'll notice, this whole north end side of the mall is just signed that it's closed for renovations. No information about what is coming in that part of the mall. So hopefully there's something good about to happen with that part. Now we're going down into what I call the basement. And the reason I call this the basement, you will see in just one second, they're taking a portion of the mall and closing it off. It's going to become the Regency Adult Education Center. Looks like they're going into some type of cooperative agreement with Henrico County Public Schools. So this seemed weird to me. I don't know what's going to happen fully with this end of the mall, but it's completely cut off with these doors. And not sure when this will be completed, but I guess it's part of the reimagining of how this mall can work in the community. And I don't think this is going to be a selfie lounge any longer. This was a selfie lounge several years ago. And this fish store, which this is where the Ugly Fish is located, has moved to the second level. They've moved on the other side of the first level by the escalators. But I guess this fish was too ugly to make the trip. I hope they're not going to leave them there to starve. Another interesting use for this property is behind the Bon Secours. I'm pretty sure this is where it's located. There's now Nova Swimming. Surge Trampoline took over the top floor of the old Macy's North location. Nova Swimming, in 2019, it was announced, was going to take over the other Macy's structure, and that was going to be replaced with an $18 million swimming facility. This facility would feature 8-lane 50-meter pool and 2 3-lane 25-yard pools. And this is a private-public partnership between Henrico County, Nova Swimming, and Regency Square. Demolition on that started back in March of 2020, and I believe the pools are already in. I couldn't see anything walking the mall to view it. But again, this is another interesting mix to changing this mall to meet the urban needs of the community. And with the multi-use apartments being built on top of the old Sears location, it's probably going to bring a lot of people to this for swimming. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. In 2016, Macy's, which had taken over the Hecht's department store chain several years prior, closed both Regency Square Mall locations as part of their nationwide cost-cutting moves. And then in 2017, Sears closed, which was part of their nationwide closings. And at that time, that just left JCPenney as the only original anchor to the mall. And at the same time that this closures were taking place, you got to listen to this terrible escalator. Tell me that's not something to give you a pause as you're going down the escalator. Fortunately, it ran fine. Let's see. As I was saying, at the same time Sears and Macy's was closing, there was a parking overpass that was demolished, and that was the start of a $39 million renovation of the mall. It was also announced that Regal Entertainment Group, also known as Regal Cinemas, would move into the former Macy's space. The planned theater, reported to open in spring of 2019, would bring first-run movies back to a neighborhood vacated by Ridge Cinema in 2002. That movie theater wasn't actually in the mall, but it sat nearby on Ridge Road. The Henrico landmark was raised to make room for a Kroger food store. And I guess we can say COVID, and you'll understand why apparently that fell through. Here is the other side of the first floor where the Adult Education Center is being built. And see what I mean about how it just cuts off the flow? I guess these doors stay closed even during regular mall hours when this is completed. I couldn't really get detailed information as to how this is going to work. I assume there will be more things in the news as this gets completed. and they get ready to open this up for use. But it is a nice thing to have for the community. To me, it seems like they should have gone down the other end where JCPenney was. That's just my opinion, but I'm not privy to the plans and don't know how the end product is supposed to work. Here we have one of the many Virginia is for Lovers monuments throughout the state. And one of my interest in mall walkers I kept coming across as I was recording. Everyone remember, Virginia is for lovers. In 2019, Forever 21 announced that they were going to close their two-level store here at Regency Square when they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Then in 2020, the former Sears building was demolished and a new 200-unit apartment complex was built. They can actually accommodate up to 1,200 units, and from what I gather, it's going to be increased over time, but that's the maximum amount of units that they can actually put in that spot. It'll be interesting to see how many they do cram in. In August of 2020, JCPenney announced that they were going to close the store here at Regency Square by November 2020, which was part of their plan to close 155 stores nationwide. And for the first time since 1975, Regency Square Mall had no anchors. Yet it's still here, losing all its anchors, facing stiff competition from Short Pump Town Center and nearby Tubman-owned Stony Point Fashion Park. It's Virginia Commons that died and is presently being demolished. You would have thought this mall would have gone before Virginia Commons. The owners of the mall did purchase the structure from Penny for $3 million with plans for redevelopment. And hopefully that redevelopment wasn't making a homewares consignment store. In October of 2020, Surge Trampoline Park opened in the top floor of the former Macy's North building, and it seems to be extremely popular. There was a line trying to get in most of the time I walked by that location. Now we're on the west side of the mall. This is where Sears used to be at the end. The food court was on the right, and again you're seeing Third Church. This is the bottom floor of the former Forever 21 location. And what struck me was there is no food court. And I was scratching my head on this. Did they just get away with the entire food court because of the food offerings being offered right outside the entrance and what's encircling the mall? Or, what's going on? And this spot here, straight ahead, the food court, it's going to be renovated into a new food hall and outdoor plaza. And I don't know when that's going to be completed.
There's escalators. I'm looking right at it. Come on. Please come here.
Fortunately, you can still get food here. It's just either directly outside the mall with the new renovations, or they're encircling the mall parking area. The eateries are Chipotle, Dragon Treats Dessert Cafe, Jersey Mike's, Mod Pizza, Panera Bread, Sloop John B. Appears to be some type of taco bar. Starbucks, McCormick's Big Whiskey Grill, and First Watch. So, do we write Regency Square off that it's going to die, it's going to go under, or do we say it's up in the air? There's still traffic in the mall. Most of the parking spots were filled. And you've got a mall management that seems determined to transform this into a shopping mall of the 21st century. And I guess it's just going to take time to see how successful they are. However, with the multi-unit apartments right next door, the food choices that are here, and what's going to come with this supposed new food hall, with the swimming facility, which will handle competitions and I'm sure instruction and everything else, there's going to be things that will draw people to Regency Square. Then you got the comic book store, you've got the escape room here, riddle me this. You've got some interesting things. I'm just not seeing it yet. Again, it's going to take time. You've got the adult learning education center. So I guess we're seeing the early stages of taking a 20th century mall and retooling it to meet the needs of the community in the 21st century. And here's my second interesting mall walker, or should I say the cross-country skiing walker. Apparently, you never know what you are going to see here at Regency Square. Between the interesting mall walkers, the strong whiff of marijuana outside, what's going to take place here in the 21st century for this facility? It's a mix. I'm torn. I can't say, hey, this mall's going under. I can't say it's going to succeed, but they're trying, and I think that's a positive thing. Here is the new entrance and outdoor area, and to the left, where Sloop John B is, they even got roof deck dining. There's just nice touches that are being added to transform this property from what it was. And I'm rooting for them. I want to see this succeed. Thanks for taking this tour with me today of Regency Square outside of Richmond, Virginia. And if you like these kind of videos, I would ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Click that notification bell. That way you will be the first to know when new content is coming available. And I've got 2 to 3 mall properties I hope to have done between March and April. So join up and make sure you get those notifications, and stay well. And until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.